Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night, depending on when you're watching this. As you probably saw on the video, today's topic is I don't know. And let's get into the video first. I know that the title says I don't know, but the thing is, I don't know, and it's not so much about the topic I don't know about. The topic is I do not know, and that sometimes it's a very annoying feeling in life that we never want to address because we just don't want to feel like that. It's that feeling, just like, I hate quoting the tarot, but in the tower there's this card called the Tower, and it's basically the divine ray has fallen, catastrophe has occurred, and suddenly everyone is falling and the tower is crumbling and people are in free fall to smash themselves against the rocks. And that period of falling is the I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna crash against the rocks or I'm gonna land in a soft bush. And that's a horrible feeling of I don't know what's next and I have no control on it, and I hate that. I do. Not knowing what's next, not being able to do anything about it, it's dreadful. It's a dreadful feeling, and I wish that to nobody. Because, and although I am a certified know-it-all, or at least that's how my bullies used to call me all the time, at least the Spanish version of it, sábelo todo, maestra Ciruela, there is this moment in everyone's life in which you're not God, so therefore you just don't know. You just have to hold on to your faith, because you don't know what's gonna come. Hopefully something good, hopefully. But the reality is you don't really know what's next. What should I do? What can I do? And it's that in between that you usually hate, in which you have sent the application for a job and you have no idea whether you have been accepted or not, whether they have already hired someone else or not. You just don't know, and it's hideous. Because if you could know, if you know something, at least you can do something, you know? If you know things are bad, you can just change them up. If you know things are good, you can keep going in that same path. But when you just don't know, and you just feel like you can't do anything to change that knowing, you can't just Google, hey, I have been accepted in my job. You can't just find certainty in life. And life is about not knowing. And that's the thing I hate the most. Life is about not knowing. Because the reality is, you never know when you're going to die. You never know when you're going to get pregnant for the first time. If you're going to get pregnant, are you infertile? Are you fertile? Are you going to get laid? You don't know those things. They just happen. They just happen. And there is nothing you can do about it. And not knowing is just so... It's such an integral part of our human condition, and we try to pretend that we do. And I think that's one of the reasons why we tend to look down upon the previous generations, that we always say, oh, those people, they knew nothing, they were so ignorant. And the reality is, yeah, medieval people were different, but they were not ignorant. They knew things that we don't know, and they knew how to survive long enough to make sure that we are here today. So they weren't so stupid. But we try to do that to ourselves, to give ourselves some degree of, oh, yeah, I know, totally know. That's why teenagers oftentimes they come up somewhat of an arrogant pricks, because they claim to know everything and we just know that they don't know. We just know. And even when I was a kid, I was like really humble about that, because I had been through enough to know that I didn't know. But even then I had some mild degree of, oh yeah, I know what I'm going to do with my life. I'm going to do this and this and this, and then I'm going to do that and that and that, and then after this and this and that, I'm going to do this and this and that. You know what? Life didn't give a fuck about what I knew that I would do. Life just happened. And yeah, the older you get, the wiser you get, the more you know that you don't know. And it's this unfortunate feeling that it's just so awful. I hate it. I want to know. But I know that I shouldn't know. And it's part of life, and it's a core essence of life is not knowing. You don't know if you're gonna die tomorrow, and that's better, I guess. Can you imagine if you knew in advance? Man, that would be awful. I mean, it will give you time to get ready, but you don't know certain things for a reason. And the vast majority of us will always live with not knowing. And that's the core of our human experience, not knowing. Because that's the difference between humans and God, or angels, or things like that. In every theology that you study, gods and deities and holy creatures, they know better than you, because they have like this otherworldly perspective, so they know better. And that's the difference. And the difference between when I used to ask my mom when I was a kid, what's the difference between an angel and a demon then? Well, demons, they just use what they know against you. They just abuse your ignorance. And I was like, oh. And I didn't realize back then that that's because our human experience, it's bound to our ignorance. And we will be forever bound to our ignorance. That's why the Garden Eden situationship is that the apple was the apple of knowledge, and it was just one apple that gave them the awareness to be closer to God. But not, imagine if they ate the whole tree. It was like, oof, it would be unbearable. If just one apple, one bite can do so much damage to our psyche. Can you imagine the whole tree of apples? That would be dreadful to the human consciousness. So people are just like, oh, I'm awake, I woke, I know. No, you don't. You're 14, you don't. And we're all humans who have only have one bite from that sacred apple of knowledge. And look what it did to us. Can you imagine the whole tree? It would be, or the whole apple. One bite was enough to change, of knowledge was enough to change our perspective forever and our whole world. Can you imagine what the whole apple of knowledge would have cost to us? Okay, I got myself a little bit into theology, but it's just like to give you a perspective. But why is the apple of knowledge so important, so relevant? Well, because what the story is trying to tell us, not knowing is part of our human condition. And I hate it. I mean, I get it, but I hate it. It's just... There are people who are happy not knowing. Oh, sorry. Sorry, it's a brick. Well, that's the sad thing. How you make peace with not knowing. Well, that was my rant, my 2 cents. Although the title must have been simplistic at first glance, the thought was a bit, annoying. So tell me, what would you like to know of all the things you don't know about life? What do you hate not knowing? And what would you prefer not knowing? Just like, what are you happy? What are you happy with not knowing of? Like, I get it. Usually the know-it-all is given to a person that person that, oh, did you know that there are people in Africa that are going through this? And I don't want to know. Just leave me alone. Usually that's the know-it-all. Ow. I got thorns all over the place. But that's why I never try to be that annoying to people, because I'm like, who cares? They don't want to know. They're already going through enough in their own lives. Just leave them alone. Anyhow, so let me know. Because I'm curious. As you can tell, I hate not knowing. Why? What do you like not knowing? What would you like to know? I hope you have liked it. You have found it enlightening, entertaining, or I don't know. Yeah. I wish you the best. I wholeheartedly hope that you're doing well. And you're not going through a tower. You're not in the free fall to the rocks. Hope you're safe and sound, and do let me know what can I do to change and improve my videos. I will try to comply. I'm not going to make any promises, because there are certain things I cannot change at the time. Sure. So let me know. I wish you the best. And until next time. Bye bye.